The ongoing blackouts have had a devastating impact on small businesses in the country. Most have been crippled to the point of closing down, and this is leading to job losses. South Africans are currently experiencing stage 3 blackouts, later to be escalated to stage 4. On Sunday, the power utility announced that the country might have to stay on stage 2 and stage 3 blackouts for the next 2 to 3 years, but moved swiftly to clarify that that is not a definite scenario. Now, senior reporter Silindelo Masikane has been tracking some of the businesses still trying to stay afloat. She's back now in studio after being up and about. Silindelo, good afternoon. Welcome to today. Thank you very much for coming in. You've been on the streets of Johannesburg today, and you're looking at the situation and how it's affecting small businesses. What did you see?
I mean, it is quite a different picture, I think, that we're seeing in terms of small businesses trying to get that backup power or alternatives for their businesses when there is load shedding. So when you're walking into these small or medium enterprises, you are seeing like generators, some have inverters already there, but you can see that the sense, especially from small business owners, is that they can't continue in this manner much longer. Many of them are saying that if they can't afford the backup power, it's just simply unaffordable to maintain. I mean, keeping a generator on for 3 to 4 hours on end is not going to be cheap. In fact, one business I spoke to, there are 3 businesses in this one vicinity, and whenever there's load shedding, they all have to contribute about 150 each just so that they can get petrol and keep that generator on for the time being. Another business I spoke to, the business owner, she produces fresh salads, fresh meals, so you can imagine that her stock in particular is food. And once the fridges go off and
the perishables
perish, basically. And she says she loses thousands of rands in stock every day. And she says that at this point with that proposal, hearing that proposal yesterday, it put her in a panic because she says at this point, I can barely maintain this current loads of these rolling blackouts. She doesn't believe she's going to survive the next 6 months, let alone 2 years. So the feeling on the ground from business owners is a lot of anxiety. And at this point, they are desperately looking for government to basically arrest the situation. Let's take a listen.
That's probably could be one of the reasons we'll actually have to shut our doors and close because we cannot keep up with it. Trying to refill up our generators. We were in the process of considering solar. And that alone is a lot of money. It's money we can't afford right now, and especially with the food prices going up. For a consumer, when they look at it and they see our prices being so high, they don't want to come to us. Because how can we come to a restaurant where if your portion sizes are not as big as what they are, they can't justify the reasoning behind it. As to why must I pay this price when I can cook it better at home? And yes, you always can. But with everything that's at the moment, with the economy as it is, it's not. It's very, very hard to stay afloat at the moment.
Definitely not. Literally, when I heard that news, my heart dropped. Like, we are so nervous that this is going to be the end. Yeah, it's terrible. It's honestly scary. It's scary.
Yeah, it's becoming a very untenable situation, Silindelo, for many small businesses.
Yeah.
I saw a report just the other day that some kind of dairy, ice cream type businesses in Soweto have shut down.
Yeah,
because they just can't. With the heat wave, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
With no power, you can't do anything. And as you correctly said, the cost of firing up that generator, while you can have it, is also very high.
Exactly.
You know, even if the petrol or fuel went down last month, now next week it might be going up again. So the cost just keeps on escalating. But you spoke to some workers representative. You spoke to, I understand, Trade Union Federation representative of COSATU and SAFTU.
Yes.
How are they seeing this situation?
At this point, they're saying that they reject essentially this proposal of this stability of stage 2 and 3 load shedding.
The predictability,
yes. Of load shedding, saying that it's just simply self-sabotage, that at this point the economy, South Africans cannot afford it, and in particular workers workers will suffer with this proposal, saying that, you know, there was a plan that was agreed upon. Why is it not being implemented? Why is Eskom coming up with these different excuses to scapegoat essentially their responsibility? And they're saying, of course, we know what this is going to do for investment in the country. South Africa is not going to be a desirable place where people are going to want to invest their money. What that's going to result in is businesses having to cut costs, and what we're going to see essentially is retrenchments, possible job cuts, so that businesses can be able to save costs where they can. So they're saying that they're going to reject this proposal. In particular, when I spoke to COSATU, they said that they will be having conversations with the ANC with regards to what the way forward is going to be, saying that this proposal simply cannot be accepted. Let's take a listen.
Is it going to discourage investment? But it is also going to make those who are already invested in this country to think twice about the future of this country. I mean, you look at the mining sector. The mining sector has long pronounced that it is intending to get out of the national grid and to generate its own energy outside of it. So that is a big problem for Eskom, because the future of Eskom is also being compromised if the biggest customer that consumes about 30% of Eskom's product, electricity, is taking such a drastic step. But if you look at the state of our municipalities cannot afford to have load shedding, because many of them have already experienced disinvestment because of poor infrastructure and other already companies that are currently operating in South Africa, especially those who have been intending to use South Africa as one of the regional centers. They are going to start to look around the continent and see whether around the continent are there countries that can actually where they can base their operations. This is really a self-sabotage. This is self-sabotage, and the idea that government have actually listened to us, endorsed this, is shocking.
And we've seen the retailers, the big retailers, Pick n Pay, Spar already have complained, showing that the procurement of diesel to ensure that they provide alternative electricity for their own retail stores, their distribution centers, the wholesale, but also just simple supermarkets and quick spas. They have had to include extra billions as extra costs. And this, in our view, would affect first and foremost the opportunity or the possibility rather of job creation in those particular companies, but also presents a new challenge. And that challenge may be these companies would consider retrenching in order to cover those particular costs.